Now?
All right, that's fun. Hey, everybody out there, welcome to the Vox Podcast. I'm Garrett Lucier. This is my son, Jack Lucier.
Hello, hello.
We decided to, can you hear me? We've decided to start this podcast, one, because we've seen quite a few podcasts out there that really just talk about tactics and the brotherhood of the fire department and really doesn't go into the stories and the true life of what it is like to be in the fire department. Now, mine is based on San Francisco Fire Department, which I started in 2001 and I retired 3 years ago. And we've been talking about it for years of sitting down and talking about these stories. And some of it is processing the what happened and you know what really went on, and then some of it is just straight up humor of how insane our jobs really were and what we did. I'm by any means a hero or somebody that touts that I'm the greatest fireman in the world. I was the greatest truckman in the San Francisco Fire
Oh,
Department for
there
a
it
long
comes.
time,
Yep, okay.
but I want to get out there and really just start, and we've decided that we're lining up guests to have people come on, the people I work with, a lot of good friends want to, they're really curious about seeing this, and I'm not here to debate about whose tactics are better, because to be honest, I really don't understand anyone else's tactics
You
but
say
our
this
own.
now,
So
Dad. You say this now.
you can start your text and send comments in at any time you want. I will ignore most of them.
Mm-hmm.
I will apologize now. This is offensive for a lot of people, and if you can't take a joke, don't watch. I will not be using names unless they previously said it's okay. But all those captains that came to 12 for years that said they were going to change stuff and make it better, I will be shitting all over you
Wow.
and all the stupidity that you did.
Can't
And
believe
you
it.
know who you are. You know who you are because you said every single time, I'm going to make this different and you're going to change. So after 23 years, I'm still the same.
So, Dad, you started this podcast to get revenge on all the bosses that bossed you around out the years, huh? I like it.
There is not one boss out there. They earned my respect is really what it was.
Well, that's good. Well, I guess we could just jump into it. I mean, we kind of already
Yeah.
did one of these, so I'll just kind of sound like a repeating record. But
No, we can go
let's,
back over.
yeah, because we kind of gotta redo it. Yeah, so I guess I'll ask you the trite question. What was your favorite fire of all time? The one that just, I know you told me before,
Favorite
but
fire.
yeah, one that you
Wow.
just had like the most camaraderie, where you're just like, that was awesome.
Wow, that's a tough one. I would say it happened. God, I don't remember if it's pre-COVID. So everything goes around COVID.
Okay,
So it's either pre-COVID or during
post-COVID.
COVID and then after,
Mm-hmm.
So I don't remember. This might have been right at the end of COVID. So I worked at Station 12, which is in the Haight District, Coal Valley of San Francisco. You can look it up. It's under the Sutro Towers by UC Hospital. I had gotten there early. A friend of mine was the boss of the engine. I was supposed to be the boss of the truck that day. And I was like, the box came in. Box, which is a name that we say for a call that's fire related. So a box. You can have build iron box, or you can have a street box or a fire. So the box came in a little after 7, and I told him that I said, I'll go. You don't have to go, because he had to go with his kids, and he was newly married or almost kid. They were planning a wedding, is what it was. It was pre OJ's wedding.
Oh, aw.
So I told him I was like, I'm on it. And he was like, cool. And my best friend who will be here shortly in one of these videos, Brian, BJ was my driver. I had a paramedic that I knew well. And I also had the EMT firefighter was had a year on me, maybe a year and a half on me. So he's a senior fireman with me. So the crew was solid. You know, like I had in my
A crew you trust, huh?
yeah, and my driver was Brian, who I never once had a question or even think. I mean, probably I would say engine drivers are hard because there's been so many great ones.
Mhm.
Truck drivers, not so much. It's a different tactic. We can get into that later, but he would be in my top 5 best drivers of all time. You
Okay.
could you just sit down, press en route on the computer, and you were gone. You know, and that was it. And we were coming down over the hill, and we were listening to the radio. And I was like, "Oh, I know who the chief is." I said, "We'll be fine. I'll get her because we're coming from a far, far away. It's maybe a 9-minute drive, which is in San Francisco pretty significant. So there's so many companies stacked on top of each other. It was like we were last due on the 4th or whatever.
Mhm.
I was like, "Don't worry." I said, "We'll go down there. I'll tell her, hey, cut us loose. We're gonna go get really good coffee at a coffee place. Um,
And
when they
breakfast?
become our sponsor."
What's the best coffee, huh?
No, I can't because
You
we're
don't want
gonna
a
get them
free
as a
shout out?
sponsor.
Wow, okay, look at you,
Free
Dad,
shout
already
out to
selling out. Wow, oh my
we were gonna go to
goodness.
Phil's. We were
Okay,
gonna go to
okay.
Phil's Coffee and on our way home, get coffee and be done with the day, you know, and that's how this whole thing was.
Okay.
We came around the corner and it is, I mean, we were 4 miles away, maybe
Mhm.
up on top of the hill coming down, and you could see the flames shooting from a city block.
Yeah.
The entire block was going. So it turned out to be a 5th alarm, which is, in layman terms, it's the biggest fire, defensive fire that you can do in San Francisco. 5th alarm is just the amount of people. It's close to 200 firemen, including medic and
Jesus.
chiefs go and water supply. I mean, the people you see there is just insane. You
Yeah.
know, it's everyone's there, and you set up and you just pour water on a building until it goes out. You know, there's really not a whole lot to it. I mean, there is if you're upper echelon chiefs, like how do I control this? But for the mid-range firefighter and the engine boss, it was like put yourself in a good spot, get a water supply,
Yep.
and just kind of hang out and watch what's going on and try and help as best you can. But you're stuck in a box, you know, and the chiefs are very on you about what's going on because you can cause some problems.
Yeah, yeah.
So we rolled up and the chief's like, she was a division chief and she knew me
Mhm.
and she was like, hey, pull your truck around the back. And I was like, hey, I'm on the engine. I jumped it. And she went, oh, awesome. Pull down the street and lead out the supply, get a hydrant. So Brian, sadly, had to go 2 blocks down, which you don't really think about it, how exciting an engine drive. So he laid out 2 sets of hoses about 300 feet each. All the way down the block. So he's way, way away. And we go off to the front side of the building. It was technically the back side because it started in the back, but we were on the front side, the alpha side, or whatever you want to call it. I don't know those technical terms, the right side, left side.
Yeah.
And we stood there and just dumped water on it. It was chaotic. We were up to so your turnout boots, which you normally wear, your protective firefighting gear. My boots come up to almost the bottom of my knee. We were standing in water that went almost to the top of the boots. That's how much water was being dumped onto this fire.
Jesus.
So everyone's just pouring water into this thing, and it's massive amount of, there's I think it's 5 buildings, and they were just, I mean, there's nothing you can do. It just
Yeah.
kept going. Um, we we did take. That's right. We took. I forgot about. Okay, so this is where we need somebody with more. So we took a kid who's on probation.
Yeah. And
So
you got
probation is
probation. Yeah. Tell 'em.
probation is a year long of training. So 6 months on a truck, 6 months on an engine.
Mhm.
And this kid was at our house. He got detailed in, and he's like, "Can I go with you?" And I'm like, "Yeah, dude. I'm all young kid. He'll do
Help
what we
me
tell him
out.
to do and
Yeah.
everything." Like,
Yeah.
yeah. So we had gotten there, and we were kind of in this driveway, and we were spraying water. The engines, the trucks had their ladders up with the aerials spraying off, and they had this thing. It's called a monitor.
Mhm.
And if you ever look at a fire engine, at the very top of it is like it looks like a sprinkler head at the top of it. It's called a monitor.
Okay.
You can remove them from the engines and put them on the ground, supply them if you can't get the engine close. So you can either use them on top of the engine and they're massive amount of water. I mean, you're just talking just tons of water coming through this.
How many gallons is in?
I don't know. I'm not from Iowa. I don't know these things. It's a lot.
Yeah. Fair enough.
And I'm not an engine guy, so it's 2 3-inch hoses supplying this, coming out of an engine that has 500 gallons in it, and there's a mathematical equation. You look it up, and they say, "Oh, you got to do 80 pounds or 125 psi." It's pretty tremendous. But Brian could tell you when he's on here. He can tell you the whole story of like how much you need to. It's technical jargon.
Yeah. All the logistics.
No one gives a. No one gives a.
Put the water on the fire.
But like nobody but like 4 people really give a shit how much. Like, what did you pump at? And,
Yeah.
it's like I don't care. Like, it's.
Did they ever get mad at
turn
you
it
for
up.
pumping too much water? Is that a crazy thing? Like, hey.
Yeah, you
going over
can.
budget for-
Well, the more water that you put into the appliances, they call them,
Mhm.
the bigger the stream comes out. So if you're trying to arc the stream over the top of a building and into it, you can adjust the pressure to drop it down. Plus, on the monitor, it goes up. You can raise and lower it. So you're really trying to reach an area that you can't reach, or you're trying to reach into like a high window or something of that nature. So, and I'm sure people are going to be all mad that, you don't know this. It's been 3 years. I don't think I've driven an engine in like 8 years prior to that. Maybe drove it like once in a while. I think I've pumped it a fire maybe 10 years ago, 12 years ago.
Not your thing. Yeah, okay.
Not my thing. I didn't study it. I was not good at it.
Mhm.
I mean, I can get water in the thing, and I can get water out, and I can get you there safely. That's all I know about engine stuff. So this kid.
Yeah, go on.
Okay, so we were there. I got back to the story.
Yeah.
So we were there, and someone had taken this monitor on the ground, and they had tied it to the fence. Now, I don't know why that happened. They had a piece of webbing, which is like a rock climbing thing, and they had tied it to this fence, so it was holding it back because there's so much pressure coming out of the nozzle, so it's pushing it up because of this. So they had tied it down, which is dangerous at its best.
Okay.
I mean, like,
frowned upon.
it's totally, it's not what you do, and it wasn't like it was. Now, if somebody from out there that works somewhere and they're like, "Oh yeah, we timed the fences," okay, well, show me why, and I'll tell you the dumbest thing I've ever seen. Someone did it. So this kid gets a direction from somebody that didn't realize what was going on, and they're like, "Hey, get it off the fence." And I remember, and he wasn't a little dude; he was kind of big.
Yeah.
And they, he cuts the webbing, and I just see him lift off the ground, like he's holding onto it, and he lifts up,
holding
like
onto the
10
hose.
feet, holding onto the hose. The whole monitor system lifts him up 10 or 15 feet, and slams him into the fence. And I was like,
Oh.
and he's on my crew. Like, if he gets hurt, it's on me
Yeah,
and this whole
yeah.
thing. And I'm like, and I never told him to do anything. There were so many bosses and so many direction going on. And I was like,
Yeah.
what the? I'm like, holy shit. And I thought he was dead. I mean, I just thought he was dead. So one of the big things you can't do with these fires,
Yeah.
especially with the older San Francisco infrastructure, is you can't open and close not hydrants, the fire engines or the valves. You can't open and close things fast.
Yeah.
Because what happens is if you shut them off real quick, it makes a hammer from the water, which goes back into the system and breaks pipes.
Okay.
So they were on the radios and they're like, don't turn anything off, just leave them running.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they were so worried we were going to destroy this water system.
Yeah.
And I had no choice. This thing is on him, spraying straight up in the air. He's under it, holding it.
Yeah.
So I'm yelling to the engine, shut it off, shut it off. So they shut it off and he gets up and he goes, I'm good. And I'm like, what are you doing? Like, no way. Like, unbelievable. And so he was just, yeah, he was lucky. I mean, super lucky it didn't hurt him.
So your favorite fire is when a Proby almost dies, pretty much.
No, he didn't almost
just
die.
kidding.
Might have been
Close
banged
call.
up. You're good.
That's
So
funny.
then the second part of this story was we had to go around. So the sheriff's department had a building there,
Mm-hmm.
and they had all their kids baseball stuff in the storage thing, like the little league, like all their equipment was there. And the sheriff went up to one of the chiefs and like, we can't let this burn. It's thousands of dollars worth of equipment that we can't get. You know, the city can't just go out and buy this stuff. So they're like, and that's part of our job is to protect
items,
stuff that isn't, and that's part of salvage, and you just want to help. And so the senior firefighter and I walked back with a hose line, like a little hose line, and we're walking along, and it's about 2 feet of water. So we're kind of walking slow, and the smoke is like down to our shoulders.
Yeah.
And it's dead quiet. You don't hear a thing, and we can't see anything. So I'm like walking along. I looked over at him. I'm like, dude, this is like Vietnam shit right here. I go, somebody's gonna pop up and stab us because we're like walking along and we're like totally like moving stuff around, like looking for this shed, and you couldn't see anything. And I was like, this is ridiculous. I go, what are we doing? I'm like, the two of us, you got an entire city block, and the two of us are looking for 10 by 10 shed.
Yeah.
That it was gone. You know, it was like, oh, it's terrible.
That's hilarious.
So yeah, then we stayed there for, I would say, probably 5 or 6 hours.
Yeah. And was
and
this the middle
like,
of the night or during the day? Or
no, it was 7 o'clock in the morning. So
okay.
It was maybe like 11:30, 12, like that area.
Yeah, yeah.
And I was like, now, one thing you have to know about firemen, and I don't know if it's everywhere, but San Francisco is, coffee is everything. Coffee is.
I could imagine what keeps you alive through those.
Yeah, it's like you have your cup of coffee and you have your conversations in the morning, and you go out to do whatever you do during the day, drills, whatever. You get coffee. So we were sitting. Brian's like 2 blocks away. I'm not doing anything, so I walk back to see what's going on, make sure he's okay if he needs anything. I'm like, what are you doing? And he's like, dude, I'm so bored. He goes, I'm sitting there. He's like, he's nowhere near anything.
Yeah, yeah.
He's complaining about some other stuff, but I'll let him. So then I'm like, he goes, you know, it'd be really awesome right now if we can get coffee. Now, I had always kept money in my pocket, in my turnouts, because of the coffee. But since 2000, whenever, we carried my phone, which has
Apple
my
Pay.
cards in it. So you never brought money anymore. You never carried $20 or anything like that. I didn't have my phone with me. No one had money. So I go into this liquor store, which looked terrible,
Yeah.
and he had coffee there. And I was like, dude, I swear to God, I will come back later on today if you give me 4 cups of coffee. He's all, you're at that fire? And I'm all, yeah. And he goes, you can have free coffee, whatever you want. And I'm like, can I have espresso? And
Hooking you guys up
he's
then?
like, he's all, whatever you want. So then we had coffee. We packed up later on that day and left, which was great. So yeah, that was in recent memories of a great
Yeah.
fire.
That sounds like a fun one.
It was pretty entertaining.
I guess I'll ask a better question here. What was the moment? Was there a specific moment that you transitioned from like civilian to firefighter? And I mean that as in like, you start being a probie, right? Was there like a fire that you went to where you're like, okay, wow, like things got real, I'm a firefighter, no longer a civilian. Like what was that moment? Was there a moment or was it just kind of like a slow, like when
It's a
did things
slow
start feeling
process.
real? Like, oh, okay, I'm a
Well, it
firefighter now.
feels you go through school, which was for us 4 months.
And that's the tower, or what is that?
That's the tower. They call it the tower.
Okay.
It's you feel like you're indestructible when you leave. They
Yeah.
do a very good job of, they don't teach you everything, but they show you everything.
Gotcha.
And it's like you leave there and you're in great shape. You're running every day. Like we're running 5-6 miles a day
Hmm.
plus lifting. I mean, there's a great picture of me at 187 pounds.
Yeah.
When I graduated, I mean, I was in the best shape ever. And then you leave there and you're like, oh, I'm ready for this.
Yeah.
And then you get to the firehouse that morning
Hmm.
or the next day, you bring donuts in because that's what we do.
Yeah.
Whenever you go to a new house, you bring a dessert or you bring donuts. Probably bring donuts.
Gotcha.
And reality sets in. You don't fit in. They
Mhm.
don't want you there. It was it's a really your job to them. They don't get paid more to teach you.
Yeah.
You have to prove yourself
Yeah.
on what
Earn
your
the
self-worth
respect,
is.
right? That type of thing.
Yeah. So you clean toilets, you are the bottom of the rung. You're
Yeah.
the first one, last one to sit down at dinner, first one to get up
Yeah.
after senior man gets up.
Hmm.
You're doing dishes, you do it. Some people's probations are awesome. Mine were wrought with difficulties and my own stupidity got
Yeah.
me in more trouble than ever.
Yeah.
And it's really on how you play the game.
Hmm.
It's a game. You're playing the game. You're trying to learn while trying to fit in. Did I fit in my probie's house? No way. Absolutely zero. And that's okay because they did their jobs for all of them. I was an arrogant asshole. I get it. But they taught me, and they taught me well.
Yeah.
I learned what I learned in my year, my 6 months at Five Truck. It was 4 months.
Mhm.
I was only on the truck for 4 months, and then the engine for 5. I was at Five Truck for my first part of my probation. I got one fire. Like they had fires like every day.
Yeah.
I got nothing, and then I went to One Engine, which was the busiest company in the United States at that time.
Like Engine 1?
Engine 1.
Okay.
So there, it's a big house. It's an old traditional house. It's downtown San Francisco. They have the squad, which is the rescue squad, which is your elite firefighters that they have no hose. They're search and rescue. They're technical,
Gotcha.
hazmat, dive, all this stuff. Then you have the truck, which
Mhm.
has no water on it, just truck guys. It's
Tools and
laddering,
stuff?
ventilation, tools, laddering, ventilation, roof guys. Then you have the engine, and the engine was we also had an ambulance also.
Yeah.
the engine did all the medical calls, like always. And you would run, I think the most runs I did was 50, a little over 50 something, 54 in one in 24. It was, you were just going constantly. You never slept. You would get sleep from like 3 a.m. till 5.
Jeez.
But you were always just, and I really loved that house because I wish I went back, because it was really later on. I got a lot out of the house. Those guys were so tight knit and great, and I was there, and it was like I worked with one of the best driver. Take that back. I worked with 2 of the best engine drivers ever, and then my boss was one of my dad's best friends. They worked together for years, so I was, I did what I could do. But I was there my first day. My first day that I walked in there, we caught a fire, second alarm. So from there on, I mean, it was like, it went straight to chaos. I mean, there were fire after fire. They went to an SRR hotel fire, which is the Baldwin Hotel, which is downtown San Francisco. Big building, big fire. We rolled up, and it was, I could not tell you. I mean, one, it's 20 some odd years. This is 2002, so it's 24 years ago. I don't remember a lot of what I did personally. I know I did what I was supposed to do, and I held on to whoever because it was, all the fires I went to was like, they were very specific about what you could do and what you could do. It wasn't until years later that I became the freelance master of, I'm leaving you and I'm walking away, and I'm going to do this. That one was, I was held onto, I was told what to do, and I did it. And there was a lot of bosses that were there that I enjoyed hanging out with, that, like, hey, you held your own. You're just not a good fit down here. I'm like, I get it. Well, I mean,
yeah. No, I get you.
I'm a larger than life personality, and have gone back to that firehouse several times as an officer, and have been treated well from them. And I, to this day, I still think they're that group that was down there. Don't get me wrong, they were a bunch of fucking assholes, but I know what they were doing, and I understood it. And they were never once was I not trained.
Yeah.
They did a very good job of training me, and I have a great deal of respect for that. Because a lot of them were just like, oh, he's an arrogant asshole. But they did their job by training me, and it made me a good fireman after that.
Yeah.
I understood what it was like to be super busy and exhausted and still move forward to get the job done.
Yeah.
So props to them.
Was
they
that
know
your
who they
favorite
are.
Firehouse, you think, besides like 12, obviously?
No, 12 was my favorite firehouse.
one?
I mean, I spent a majority of my life there. I loved, every firehouse is different.
Yeah. Unique, right?
Yeah. And
what made you love 12 so much? Was it like, because I imagine that it's not like the same group of guys the whole time, or like maybe a little bit. What's
there was a core group that was there, that I loved, and to this day. I mean, just the background. My father passed away a month ago. When was it? 2 months ago or whatever. We have the services in Napa, and I mean, I've been out for 3 years, been around the firehouse. We had the firehouse sent flowers to my mom and notes. There was a representative from the firehouse itself that came up as a group. The guys I worked with, 8 of them came up, and it makes you realize
the family
that they made
aspect.
the family and the impact that
camaraderie.
they made on me. And we changed on and off like crews. You would get new people, but the core of us were always there. Manny passed away.
Mm.
Oh, 4 years, 3 years, 2 years ago. I forgot what man. But he had always been there. He was the first one. He was the first one to make me believe that this was my home.
Gotcha.
You know, Brian was the same way, but he was basically my classmate.
Yeah.
He has 4 months more on me, or 3 months more on me. He was seniority wise, we were 3 spots away.
That's funny.
But Manny was a figure in the house that made me know that this is where I belong. This is my house.
Gotcha.
And it was, you know, I raised you guys there. I raised Coop, most of Coop, you know.
Got to see it. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we had 15 of them at the wedding, you know, and so it was a great place. And every firehouse has its perks and their personalities. There's always different personalities, and none of the houses are the same. You know, some are very dark and very, you know, professional, and some are Hawaiian shirts and flip flops. You know, I mean, like, why are you wearing that today?
Yeah.
You know,
and then so, you got to explain. My grandpa, your pops, he was a firefighter also, right?
Yep. And 23 years.
And how is that? I know you've told me that before, but explain a little bit of that. Like when you came in, and you know, you're saying that.
Well, you got to remember. So he, not the chattiest individual ever, unless he had a little bit of wine, and then we could tell stories.
True. Yeah.
And my stories were nowhere near his. And he kept everything kind of close. What happened and what went on. But I knew he was a farmer. You know, he would come home from work when I was a kid, and you'd smell it on it. And the only way I can describe that smell is wet. Like, take a fire pit,
wet
fireplace,
soot? Like
smoke, wet smoke. That smell.
Gotcha.
It's take a fireplace or something and dump water on it, and that after smell. That's what he smelled like. Little did we know that is basically cancer coming out of your system. We'll get into that later.
Yeah, jeez.
But that was him off-gassing from being at a fire, you know, it's involving all that. So the stories are of him that I've heard from other people, and he's told me a couple of them that are pretty good. He was on the squad. He made the squad in the 80s.
And what is that? What is the squad?
Rescue squad.
Oh,
so there's
like
2 in San Francisco.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, there's 2 in San Francisco. One does half the city. And the stories that I got from guys that he worked with and people that knew him, this was straight out of, you know, saving children and ladies constantly. Like, that was what he did.
Yeah.
You know, nowadays it's like, no offense to anybody gets awards. I get it. You want to appreciate it. But it's like, you know.
There was no participation trophies type of thing? Or?
No, it was like, that's part of your job. Yeah. And that was a standard. That was a standard from Station 12 where I was at, was we don't accept awards because it's part of your job, you know? And we don't have plaques on the walls or, you know, accommodations or any of that stuff. Like, it's fine. Like, the 4 letters of recommendation and the word I got him prior to being at 12.
Yeah.
You know, after that, we just turned him down.
Yeah.
You know, and it's not a jab at anybody except for one officer who has like 70. Get you. It just, for us, it just didn't mean anything.
Yeah.
You know, it was more important for us to be good at what we did. And I think at that point, so going back to my dad, it was he was a tremendous influence on me because I saw it, but I didn't understand what he did
Yeah.
until
You're
being
doing
in the
it.
fire department
Yeah.
about 5 years. I started to understand what he was doing.
Mhm.
And we have talked about that. So it was the first time he ever called me at the firehouse. So there's a number in the firehouse, and every firehouse has the same number except for the last two digits. It's the firehouse number.
Gotcha.
It's been that way since probably they put the phones in.
Yeah.
He called me one morning after a fire that I had, different firehouse, and there's 7 firemen went to the hospital. A
That
lot of
was that
burns.
huge fire you're telling.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Cap Street.
Mhm. That's like the biggest one, right, that you went to?
No, it wasn't. It was the most. Uh, I wouldn't say biggest. I think it was more chaotic.
Gotcha.
Um, because of a lot of problems and a lot of the construction of the building. You had a woman jump out of the 3rd-story window right in front of us.
Yeesh.
That landed right in front of the medic and the operator.
Jesus.
And then the stairwell. So it's called a Romeo and Juliet. It's an apartment building design in San Francisco.
Mhm.
The stairwell's in the front,
Mhm.
and then you go up the stairwell, and then each floor has 2 apartments, or it can have 5. But the
Mhm.
stairwell goes up, and then there's windows all in the front. So
Okay.
if you had a date, you would come to the window and you look out and you go, "Oh, hi, that's
Gotcha.
Romeo and Juliet." So it kind of
Gotcha.
gives you the
Okay.
idea what it was. So the staircase was all marble or some sort of granite. They were hard stone stairs,
Mhm.
and the fire was burning so hot above us that the water was steaming as it hit the thing and burning us like a waterfall coming down.
Jesus.
Um, we so give you a backstory. We pulled up the boss, the chief, the IC.
Mhm.
Chief goes grab a large line, which is a 3-inch line, and then you hook smaller hoses up to it to basically do a sprinkler system and go in.
Mhm.
Gives you more range.
Yeah.
So we took the large line. We were going to the front, got hit with a chunk of siding that fell off the side of the building. I mean, it was, I don't know, about 8 feet wide and
Mhm.
4 feet long. Hit him in the head, knocked him out. And he was laid on the ground. And this was 2004, maybe 2005,
Uh-huh.
I think. And so he's, and he looks at me and he goes, "Just keep going." So the paramedic and I went in
Yeah.
and ended up behind the engine, the first 2 engine, a couple of the truck guys and the squad guys. And
Mhm.
we were all laying on the floor trying to get to the 3rd story. And it was like a blowtorch over the top of it. It was just rolling. I ended up losing my partner at one point. And like it was just chaos. And especially when there's so many firemen going to the hospital, bosses are gone, like the entire engine crew that showed up, except for the driver, all went to the hospital. So the first group were gone.
Yeah.
So you got probies running around without their bosses. We were just doing whatever we could do to stop this fire. And
Yeah.
I was on my own. I hooked up with another senior fireman that and we had gone around this corner, and I've told you the story, but we went into this apartment and I looked down and there was 2 bunk beds
Mhm.
with SpongeBob,
Sheets and all that.
blankets on them.
Yeah.
Yeah, sheets, and there were toys everywhere. And we went around, like that's in my vision is you and your sister,
Yeah.
kind of thing.
Yeah.
And
It's somebody's home.
so we made,
Yeah.
that's somebody's home.
Yeah.
And so we made the roll around there. And when we came back, we got out on the back deck. When we came back out, that whole room was gone. Like the whole thing caught off when we were on the other side of it. But and there was a lot of fear. There was a lot of fear. We did find one probie. She was, I think it was one class that just graduated. This was their first fire.
Mm-hmm.
And one of them went to the hospital for burns.
Jesus.
The second one we found on the top floor, she was by herself. She had lost her boss, which is not unheard of, so don't everybody go, oh, you can't believe you left your probie. Got left several times. You're not lost. There's somebody there. You just go with somebody else. They're like, oh my God, they left her alone. No, she's just standing there, but she has nobody. She doesn't know what to find.
Yeah.
And everybody's screaming, and she's like, I need help. I can't find my boss. And I go, well, fuck it, just come with us. So she did. She did a great job, and she lost her boss. So what? Like, fuck. We go on. So yeah, that's the reality of it is, you have to remember, and it's one of the old guys told me when I was a probie, I said, oh, I hope we get a fire. I really do. He's like, I hope we do nothing today. I hope we get nothing. And it wasn't until about 10 years, maybe 12, I was starting to hope that the fire stopped.
Yeah.
Because the reality of it, this is their lives.
Yeah.
We talk about my parents losing their house in the Napa fires in 2017 and the utter destruction that wildfire had.
Yeah.
You don't want to see it anymore. You do your best to stop it.
You're not going to a happy ending.
No. And you do a great job. The fire department does a great job at trying to protect everybody's houses and their property. And I said, but it's devastating to see people out in the street with blankets on because they have nothing.
Yeah.
And there's great moments of you bringing their animals out, or you found something. There's several incidences where I found pictures.
Mm-hmm.
Like they had tried to put their pictures down and wrap them up, but whatever happened, they didn't go back for them. So I'd find like a stack of pictures or a book or something, and I would grab it, bring it out. Yeah, and they were like, and that's, for me, that was important.
Mm-hmm.
Like here's a touch of your life back that I can help you.
Yeah.
So.
Yeesh. Well, a happier question I guess I could ask is, what was it like the first time driving the truck? Like, what was that like? Like, was that a surreal moment? Do you remember that?
I knew I was home.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember. I mean, not the very first time.
Yeah. Because I bet it's
driving that truck.
Yeah.
You're, what is it, 63 feet long or something like that?
Huge.
They're tiller trucks, so you have a guy in the back that helps you, and he navigates. But yeah, I sat in that front truck, and I was like, I don't want to do anything else. I knew that's where I wanted. It was like an old pair of sneakers. Like it just felt so good.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is what I want to do.
Yeah.
And I learned how to be that driver. And I learned from some really great bosses, because in the job, it's like, it's stuff. It's not like your typical job where you can just read a book. Some people think you can. You can't.
Yeah, Mike Mark.
You can't.
No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, he'll get mad at that. Uncle Mike, we're just kidding. I don't think he ever read a fireman book. It's about the experience, and you really need someone who's done it to teach you how to do it. And then you pass that on.
Yeah.
And mine, I learned that way, and I made sure that everybody that came in that was new or hadn't done it, that this is what we're doing.
Mm-hmm.
And you prove yourself that way, and it didn't matter who they were. You had to teach them.
Yeah.
So
did you have like a mentor, like anyone that kind of stood out, kind of really helped you out? I mean, through it all, or?
There's so many of
Yeah,
them.
I could imagine.
I mean, it's you know, the guys at Six Truck
Hmm.
were amazing
Yeah.
because their neighborhood was a lot like our with wires in the street and these peaked roofs that were like this, and
Hmm.
um Joe Barbero, Mike Wong, all the guys at Tiller that I had, Keith Ammer, they were all part of it. Taught me, uh, refine my craft, I think is what it was.
Yeah.
I have to give a shout out to Shane Murphy, who will never listen to this, but uh, he was driver of the truck. He was tiller also. Really just one of the most knowledgeable young individuals. He's my age.
Yeah.
But if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't have been as good as I could. And
Yeah.
him and I had our differences over the years. You can't. I mean, we lived together in this house for 15 years together. We argued about things all the time.
Yeah.
Um, but when it came down to doing the job, he taught me how to be as good as I was, and that's how it goes.
At the end of
You
the
have
day, yeah.
Yeah, you have to teach to keep it going on. And
Hmm.
I to this day there are people in the fire department that still call me and ask me questions.
Oh.
Like, yeah, I'm still relevant. I am still relevant to this day.
They have your picture up in the all the firehouses.
There's several pictures in the firehouses. So most of them are in the bathroom, but they're around.
Right above the urinal, huh?
Yep.
Yeah. What about I'm trying to think here because I mean, right, you were a cook you were a chef for a while too, right?
Hmm.
How long
Yeah,
were
I
you a
worked
cook?
in. Oh, I started in late 80s,
Uh-huh.
maybe early 90s. Started cooking. It's a classic story. Um, I worked up in Tahoe, so I was
Mhm.
living at and it was the only job that I could get was flipping burgers on an outside barbecue at Kirkwood.
Mhm.
Um, no idea how I lied my way into the job because I had never done anything like that. Like I could cook, but not like
Cook.
anything,
Yeah, yeah,
And they're like, "Hey, you from 11 to 3, 6 days a week, but then you can ski anytime you want to." And I was, "Oh, I'm in."
yeah. Yeah, yeah.
Like, let's do this. So
Cha-ching,
I
yeah.
skied, made no money, partied my completely. Oh, I could tell the stories now. I won't embarrass my dad. Um, so and so I got into that and then started when I moved back to San Francisco,
Mhm.
I applied for a job at Stars, which was Jeremiah Tower, who used to be Alice Waters, which is this is not the food channel, but you will see some food here. Um, he was a famous chef in the city.
Okay,
And
okay.
so I went in as an idiot 20 something year old, hadn't changed, 57 now, I haven't changed at all. Showed up in flip flops and shirt
Mhm.
and a t shirt. I'm like, "You're going to give me a uniform. I'm going to have to fucking drive." So the chef sat there and they're at dinner service. So it's like 5:30 or something. We sit down and he's like, talks to me for like 10 minutes. And then he's like, "Okay." He's all, "You're hired." I'm like, "What? That's it?" And he goes, "Yeah, be here tomorrow. This is what you got to do." So I got into there and he told me years later why he hired me.
Mhm.
He goes, "Anybody that was that arrogant to show up in flip-flops and shorts to an interview," and he goes, "Did you know that Pavarotti was sitting 3 tables away from us having dinner and you're in there with shorts?" And he goes, "I
Who's
had to hire."
who's Pavarotti?
Pavarotti was a
Pavarotti?
Pavarotti. He was a
Uh-huh.
famous opera singer from Italy.
Oh, okay, okay.
Who I don't know if he's from Italy. I don't know where he's from, but whatever. He was a famous opera singer.
Gotcha. Yeah.
And he was there having dinner, and he goes, the guy's the most famous person, and you're there in shorts. He's all, I had to hire you just on the arrogance alone. So I got hired there. Learned a lot from them. I got to meet a lot of famous people. Nick Cage, shout out to you. Who else? Who else did I meet? I did shots with Nick Cage. What's his name? From The Matrix. Why can I not remember his name?
Keanu Reeves?
Keanu Reeves, I met one night.
Ooh.
He was filming that movie November. Yeah, the list was pretty good. Met a lot of them there. It was a famous restaurant that everybody went to.
Yeah.
And then I worked. Then from there, he started opening more restaurants around. They needed somebody to be a purchasing agent,
Mhm.
which is really a legal term for somebody who gets up at 4 a.m. and does whatever wants done.
Gotcha.
So I would get up in the morning, go to work, and I had to, what do you call it? I had to test everything when it came in. So the chefs would order it the night before. I would make what they had was what they needed. And then guys would come in and they would bring in oysters. You'd have them in the morning and check the fish and the lettuce. And then they would come in and they would go, I've got these great, it was pre the way we order things now. So it was like little farmers from, Marin County would bring in microgreens and hot peppers, and you would taste them all and you'd be like, somebody might like this. And then you'd bring it in. Huh. Yeah. And then you turn everything on and showing up around 8:30, and they would start going on with their day, and you would take inventory, and then you would go, and it was great. It was fun.
Did you cook a lot when you were obviously, right? Like in the firehouse? Like what did you have a favorite meal cuz that must have been fun too, like cooking for everyone. I mean,
yes, cooking for everybody it wasn't until 12 that I sort of found my feet, per se. So I got in the cooking realm. They were very the house is very well known for their food. So when you sit down to eat meals like lunch and dinner, tablecloths, candles on the table, still that way today. Mm-hmm. It was a group meal, so everybody got involved. Yeah. And progressively over the years, I got better understanding my tastes. I mean, I've always had a great idea of what I wanted and how to. It got refined when I was in the fire department. Mm-hmm. There was a captain who I actually liked. It was back when I used to like the captains. He was completely insane. Had worked with my dad for years. He was nuts, and in a good way. But he was definitely an odd character, and he would throw the menu from what is that place? Oh my god. It'll come back to me.
It's okay.
Space. So this restaurant that, Cheesecake Factory. He would throw the menu at me and he would go, my turn to cook today. Because everybody takes turns. Mm-hmm. It's a big chart and you go by it and everybody has a day. And he goes, it's my turn to cook. I want this. And he would hand me the thing. And it was like, 40 pounds of butter and a burger. I mean, it was insane.
Jesus, food. Yeah.
So years later, he had a heart. And
he had a heart attack, you said?
Yeah, he did. Years later, he had a heart attack. And I called him and I'm like, dude, I'm really, and he goes, oh, don't worry about it. I don't blame you. I made you do it. And I was like, oh, thank you. Thank you for that one.
Yeah.
So yeah, we got into food. There was a lot of challenges about what we could do. My friend Brian was the muse of the whole thing. Let's, cook tons of food,
Yeah.
or
Because it's like
you
what,
know,
12 guys at a time, 13 guys at a time, or
nine guys at a time, nine,
okay,
10. It was 11 when we had the ambulance there, and then it went 9 after
gotcha.
they isolated the ambulances. Um,
So the ambulance
so
used to be
yeah,
a part of the fire department, or
yeah, yeah. You
oh,
would
okay.
rotate on and off of it in the beginning. Um, oh, I guess I have to tell the parrot story, huh? There's 2 parrot stories.
Parent?
I guess parrot, like the bird.
Oh, parrot. Okay.
Yeah. All right. So I'll give you the story. We'll do the hook story. All right. So I was on the ambulance young in my career.
Mm-hmm.
It was the first time I'd ever been written up. There's been a lot of attempts, but none stuck. This one did. So it was about 3 in the morning. My partner and I were on the ambulance, and
And you were ambulance before firefighter.
well, you were a firefighter, but you were on the ambulance, so it was part of
Okay.
your. You were assigned to this ambulance. So it was a
Ah, okay.
paramedic and an EMT, and it was a great experience because my medical sk- and my your driving skills, your skills and chaos comes from that.
Gotcha.
You were going to fires too, but when you're involved in like a full recess, somebody have or shootings, or
Yeah, yeah.
you learn to slow everything down because you have to. You got a job. You're dealing with this patient, you know. So I'm on the ambulance. It was 3 in the morning, all day, all night, and this guy called us because he had an abscess in his hand.
Mm-hmm.
He had been shooting up in his hand, and it got infected. And we were going to the hospital, and I was in the back. And I was like, here's phone number. And I wrote down this number in San Francisco. They said, hey, when you get out of the hospital, you guys give these guys a call and they'll set you up. And he goes, oh, what's this? I said, it's the zoo, though. You know, when they take your hand and they hook, you're going to need a parrot, for Halloween parties and stuff. Plus, you can make money at kids' parties.
Yeah.
So he started crying because
Say
he
you
was
needed
worried
a
that
hook?
yeah, hook. So he started crying.
Crying in the ambulance.
Yeah, and then we got him in the hospital. They said, it wasn't that bad. But the doctor asked me what I said. I told him. Next thing you know, I'm in the chief's office.
The doctor
Here's a
wrote
piece
you
of
up
paper.
or what?
Yeah, he wrote me up and he said it was unprofessional. And I'm like, dude, come on. I thought it was pretty funny.
Oh.
So the CD2, which is the second in command of operations, and he's reading the complaint.
Yeah.
And he can't not stop laughing. And the head of EMS is on his right hand side. Our paramedic captain's right here,
Yeah.
and he's just like he can't even get through it. He's laughing so hard. So they put a letter in my file, and that was the end of. I was told never to do it again, and I'm pretty sure I did more than once.
Poor guy.
If he.
You don't feel bad?
No, it's like, come on.
Yeah.
It's 3 in the morning. You could have gone to the doctor at like 4 in the afternoon. It didn't just get infected. It's been infected for a while. Like, come on. Like, there's a time limit on this.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
don't wait till 3 in the morning to call me out of whatever I'm doing.
That's hilarious.
Yeah,
you-
there are a lot of ambulance stories that are
Did you
interesting.
like being on the ambulance?
At the beginning, I did a lot.
Yeah. Takes its
It
toll
was,
though, I bet.
Yeah, it wears you down.
Yeah.
I mean, God bless anybody that does it more.
More than what?
3 years at a time. I mean,
Oh,
we
okay.
were hired as firemen and then put on the ambulance for. You had to do so many watches, and that number kept moving. But it was basically 3 years constant.
Yeah.
You got rotated off every once in a while, but there was a lot of freedom to it.
Yeah.
You can go anywhere you wanted. Nobody cared.
Yeah.
Kind
of cruising around the city.
Yeah, but you were not in the firehouse. You were you would go back to the firehouse, but you weren't involved in any of it. You didn't have watches, you didn't cook, you didn't do anything. You just ran calls and went to the hospital and came back. So you weren't part of the camaraderie kind of part of it.
Yeah. It's kind of fun.
It was interesting. I mean, I was out in the south side of town, so I was above the mission.
Yeah.
I went to multiple mass shootings, multiple murders, and car wrecks, and I mean,
was that?
just.
Can I ask you what was that like? Like, what was one that was just kind of? I mean, you don't have to share, but what was one that just like really got you? Just like, oh my God, what the fuck's wrong with people? Kind of one.
Oh, almost all of them are that way. It's like your disregard for human life is just, I think a couple of them stick. One of them was we got this. He was, I don't know, maybe 17 years old, maybe 16.
Yeah.
Juvenile. He was executed up on the hill in the projects. Still had his brand new shoes on. And the cop told me, he goes, he just got released from juvie. So,
executed? What do you mean, like?
He was somebody went up and just shot him and laid him in the park.
Jesus.
And the cop was like, yeah, he just got out of juvie, like just got out. So whatever he did in juvie, he snitched or whatever rule he broke
Word
that
got
they
around,
wanted.
Yeah.
But at 16 years old, you're like,
naive. Yeah.
We're I don't get it. I didn't grow up that way.
Yeah.
The other one was the summer of. I have to look up the date. So it was a summer that the rival Notanias and MS-13 were fighting over the mission, and there were shootings, 2 to 3 shootings a day. I mean, it was, you talk about San Francisco being. I mean, it was the Wild West. They were daytime shooting, nighttime shootings. It didn't matter. This poor bastard was walking his kid home from getting ice cream in the hot day, and somebody walked up right behind him and shot him and killed him. And his kid's like, his kid was probably 5 or 6, and it's like the vision of it is the kid crying, ice cream on the ground, dad's dead. And cops running around, and like you're there, and it's like, I mean, I had to beg the department. This is how dumb it is because they're all passing them out now.
Yeah.
So we're talking 2004, 2005, maybe even 2003.
Yeah.
I went to so many shootings that I had requested a bulletproof vest.
Jesus.
So
I remember that. I remember you gave me it. Yeah.
So
they
had bulletproof vests in the back of the ambulances that you were supposed to wear, and they were huge, like Vietnam era retired. And I'm like, I'm not wearing that.
Yeah.
Because one, you can't work in it, and then I begged the department, and I was like, I'm gonna get fucking shot out here, and you guys, it's in paper here that I requested this. And they were like, done. Went and got fitted. And I wore it. I wore it for a year, and it was like, because we look like cops.
Yeah.
Like you're in the same blue uniform they have.
Yeah.
There's no difference, So
just without a gun.
Yeah, and it was after that. That was the summer that I started wearing white t-shirts, because it was
to look less like a cop.
Yeah, it was more to like, I'm not a cop. I'm here to help, or it was, you could wear a white and blue t-shirt. Chiefs hated it. Some were like, yep, it's totally cool. And I started wearing one 2004, and I stopped wearing a blue t-shirt. Never. I always wore a white t-shirt.
Yeah. That's funny. And now you wear a white t-shirt forever, huh?
I haven't put on a white t-shirt since the funeral.
Yeah.
It's hard to keep clean when you got your sandwich. I mean, you would go to Costco and you'd buy like a pack of 6.
Yeah.
And within a month, buying another pack of six because they never come out clean.
Of course
They
not.
never
Yeah.
look as good. You know,
Mhm.
you're like,
What was there ever like a moment where you felt like you did the most good? Like I know you were telling me earlier about like getting memorabilia out of fires and stuff for people. Like was there ever one moment where you're just like, like that really made me feel good? Like where you really just felt good about something you did?
um, we were on. So we went on a wildland. In the city, it was different
Mhm.
because you always felt like you did something good. Like
Mhm.
every fire, you did something. You stopped it from going in their apartment. You know,
Mhm.
you did what you could. I was on a wildland in
I forgot about
Salinas.
yeah, I forget about that. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So we would volunteer just sort of volunteer. You would go to this class, you'd volunteer, and then they would put you on these engines, and you would be dispatched as a strike team to wildland fires.
Mhm.
Credit to all the fucking guys I met over the years. They were tough. I mean, you were gone for 14, anywhere from 14 to 24 days. I think the longest I was 31 with a half day in the
Jesus.
middle.
Yeah.
Um, I went to Salinas and this town. We had gotten there. We left late at night.
Mhm.
Uh, no, we left early. There was a lightning strike, so they pre-positioned us, and we were in the East Bay, somewhere out by the Oakland Hill,
Mhm.
and we had gotten there, nothing going on,
Yeah.
and then all of a sudden they're like, "Hey, you guys are going south of San Francisco," and we went down there. By the time we got there, it had already rolled through neighborhoods, like it was already done what it was doing. You
Yeah.
know, it had burned through the neighborhoods, and we were like, "Now we're getting turned around and get back." And we were there. We kept staying. I'm like,
Mhm.
"What's going on?" Well, behind it is the coast. And so the smoke never really rose above the mountains. So it was back there, but it was starting to come over. So
Mhm.
Cal Fire was like, we're going to keep you guys here, you know, pre-position you around. We we were watching a house and it was like 3 in the afternoon and the radio blew up.
Yeah.
And it was like full on mayhem. Like Cal Fire doesn't use radios.
Yeah.
They they're not like San Francisco's. They're very this is your job, this is your area,
Do your thing. Yeah.
get it. Yeah, they're not like, oh, I got water pressure. That's a joke. It's a joke to some people. How's your pressure out there? And so I was driving and oh yeah, I was the engine driver. Just so you know, I drove the engine.
Okay.
Um, and we had gone house to house. It had rolled over this ridge and was just blowing through houses. I mean, it was the most insane thing I've ever seen. I mean, it was one after another. We tried to make a stand on this one house. Um, my boss, I think he was frustrated and
Mhm.
was like, I want to save somebody something. And I'd seen it coming out of the eaves and the dead sign that it's already, you know, the house is gone. Once it's in the roof, there's nothing to do. And we kicked open the door and it just, the entire inside of the house was on. And it wasn't like you could see it from the outside, all inside. And it was just going. And I looked at him and I go, there's nothing we can't, we don't have enough water. We don't have enough people done. And
Yeah.
he's like, he was visibly frustrated. And it
Yeah.
was like, that was what, and we ended up, I don't think we did. Somebody from our, had made a stop on a woman's house. And a day later, we were coming back. We came back and we were all waiting. They call them drop points. It's where
Mhm.
you wait for the crews to come out and you go in. So they're both up there at the same time. This woman came up and handed us 27 loaves of banana bread. So
Mm.
two per engine or something. It was a
Mhm.
massive amount of banana bread. Amazing. If I ever find her, I'm going to say it was, we
Wait,
had
you said
saved
if
her
you ever
house.
find her what?
I would just thank her so much
Yeah,
because
yeah.
you're eating the worst known to man.
Was it
It's a
MREs or what?
no, it was like a burrito from Costco and you know some sandwich some guy from prison made, you know, and you're like questioning that whole thing. And you're like, and you're starving. So
Yeah.
everything comes in a bag and it's 24 hours. Now, I'm not a little guy. So that bag would be gone by lunch. And then
Yeah.
I'm like starving the rest of the time. So you would save Uncrustables.
Yeah.
That was always key. So, and you always knew you were good when you got the strawberry ones.
Yeah.
When you were really good, they would give them to you. But if you were bad, you got all the grape ones. But this woman came up and just tears in her eyes and thanking us and was like, you know, you guys saved my house and you did all this. And we didn't do it, but somebody on our crew did. And
Yeah.
you felt proud. One, I felt very proud of being a San Francisco Fire, and very proud of what I was doing. I knew I was making a, you know, we're in the city, you make a difference every day by something. It's just part of your job. But when you're out there, you're showing the world how great this job is and what you can do. And you were on public display, and you were always pushing the envelope with the mustaches and the cowboy hats, you know, but it was still, people were so proud to see you and so happy to see you. And that was neat. That was a fun time.
Because you're there saving all that.
You're there. They're not in the city. You were, I mean, we 50, 60 miles away, sometimes 100, in the middle of nowhere, and helping them, because that's your calling, is to, well, I don't know if it's a calling, but that's what you did.
Yeah.
And you go where you're told. And they were great experiences. They were life-changing, because you live with a group in your rig. You know, you're 5 engines together. Yeah, you know, at night you're sleeping in it or on top of it. But you're with this crew who is your friends by the end of it. They're your family. And they're people from every part of the San Francisco Fire Department. And they kept you alive because they're keeping watch, or you did everything together and there was no hierarchy. You know, you do what I tell you to do.
Yeah.
Let's think this out. Let's get this process
You're out
going.
on your own there, kind of.
Yeah. And they give you a task. You did your task, and you set to certain rules. Like Cal Fire has their rules, and you do what they tell you to do, and you just did it.
Yeah.
You know, but there was an art to it too. It's like, how do I get water? You got 500 gallons that I got to get. Where get this water? Because the hydrants didn't work or something. So for me, it was a talent of like, hey, I don't know how to use this mini pump. They had a little pump, and you'd throw it in a pool, and you'd fill your water up tank, and you'd go off, and like you'd shuttle water around, and it was a neat experience.
Yeah. So you like that wildland?
I liked it on the Type 1s, which is like a fire engine. When we moved to the Type 2 crew trucks, I was ill-trained.
Is that tools
for that?
Or what is that?
That is basically park your truck and walk and go cut hand lines or lay hoses out. It was not any hand lines is like 6,000 feet of hose that you lay out on, you know, and if you can imagine, I mean, and we did it, you know, like on a mountain like this steep, you're laying hoses out and putting things along, like, so they can do their work and you're protecting them. It was, that's where it changed for me. I was not, I'm not going to say that I'm lazy.
Yeah.
But I didn't like that part of it. I didn't feel, there were guys that were really good at it and knew what was going on. I didn't stand it, and I was too old to stand it. And then I got bitter towards doing it at the end. And then just stopped. It was like, I'm not doing this anymore. I can't. I'll drive you anywhere, and I'll pump water, and I'll do whatever you want me to do. Sleep out in the fucking smoke and the dust, but I'm not hiking up a mountain. Too fat. I'm too old.
Yeah.
Not hiking up a mountain with a rake and going, oh, hey, let's, you know, it's 200 degrees outside with, you know, 40% humidity and people are dropping their half my age are dropping down dead. And it's like, here I am going, I ran out of water when we left the rig.
Yeah.
There's no water left in my bag. I sucked down 3 gallons just getting out of the bag. So yeah, so then I ended that little jaunt of my part of my career.
And you did the wildland stuff towards the end, right? Like you never really,
Yeah.
there was none of that.
It wasn't until after 2017. I had gone to the class. I had taken wildland class because of where I was.
Yeah.
So I knew stuff. I mean, but I'd never gone. And then after 2017, I was like, I need to get involved in this. I want to help.
Yeah.
We saw the resources. We saw what I knew my talent as a driver.
You saw the
could help.
impact. Yeah.
Yeah. And I saw when they were in Napa, how much, that meant to me, of seeing them there and that I'm in. I'm hook, line, sinker. I'm going.
You're happy someone's saving that. Yeah.
Yeah. You're not from here, and you're putting your ass on the line for me. Thank you. That's amazing.
Yeah. Well, that's cool. I'm glad you got to do that type of stuff. But yeah, yeesh, I would not want to be doing hand lines. I can tell you that. No, thank you.
No one does to those kids.
Yeah, Jesus.
It's a young man's game.
Yeah, I guess so. I'm trying to think what else. When you were a firefighter in the city, and I know you told me this before, what was the getting out of the shadow moment of the legacy of, your pops, right? Did you ever, what was there like?
No, I'm still in his shadow. He's, I wish he was alive to see all this, but if I could be half of the fireman he would be tremendous. He put together programs of NERT, which is Neighborhood Emergency Response. He built this thing, and it has created a tremendous tool for San Francisco residents to, in case of a disaster, they could be on their own for 3 days, with supplies and medical, like basic first aid and, how to help other people that are like, to see that vision. I don't have that vision, like I don't see my niche going, oh, dude, I just spent 7 days searching houses during an earthquake at Loma Prieta in '89.
Yeah.
Going house to house,
how can I make it more efficient?
How can I make this better so people are okay? And it's like, and he did it with a group of great guys that all help, that were part of it. And it's like, that's an amazing visionary. Plus, he's squatty, so it's like, I was a truck guy, big, dumb, and just broke.
No, don't say that. Don't say that. So the squad guys were really like the Navy SEALs, if you will, of the fire department. Kinda.
I wouldn't give them that much credit because they've done a lot of stupid shit, but they for me was, I had to be good at being a truckman, and later on learning how to teach people the basic skills of trucks, ventilation, fire attack, search and rescue, how to fucking go home every night, or every morning when you get off. That is the most important thing. These guys on the squads, they have to train every day because it's not me. I can drive the truck around and be like looking at buildings and go, does that ladder work here? Or, let's go walk through the building. It's like, you're talking about high angle rescue on, you're talking about diving in black mass, like looking for somebody, hazmat issues, shoring of collapsed building, the amount of technical knowledge, and not all of them were great at everything,
Hmm.
but they all knew a little bit, and then each person had their own specific, would guide you.
Their own
That's a talent in
expertise.
itself. Yeah,
Gotcha.
and
Yeah.
that's a talent right there, to have that, and always trying to be better.
Yeah.
It's not running into a building and saving, women and children and running around and stealing. That's the bonus part of it. It's all the other stuff that they get involved. Sort of like, you know, uh, they were good at what they did,
Yeah.
and San Francisco's got the best. You had to have a certain amount of time to get on. You had to have a certain amount of certs to get there, and
Mhm.
they were great. Well, for the most part, most of them were great.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it. I ended up holding on to their coattails more than once. I
Yeah.
would be out by myself. I'd make a turn, and there they are. So
Interesting.
it's, yeah.
Um, what about like sleeping? Like because obviously, right, you have a fire in the middle of the night. Like what was the longest time that you were just like, was there ever like back to back to back to back, like was there ever obviously I'm assuming, but what was that like, just being up all night, doing something? I mean,
I can sleep anywhere and anytime.
yeah.
Uh, yeah.
What what was the
You,
longest you stayed awake for?
ooh, maybe 48 hours,
Mhm.
maybe a little less than 48 hours.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, you get nutty after about 18.
Yeah,
You start to
yeah.
get a little bit crazy, and then things start popping in your head, and that's where a lot of the antics come from, because you're like, you're you're up, you're exhausted, you're still adrenaline rush,
Mhm.
and then you just, something comes in your head, and you're like, wouldn't it be great if I just took my fucking pants off right now and walked boxers in my boots? Like, and it made sense at the time.
Mhm.
Like, when they ask you, why don't you have pants on? It's like, I honestly can't tell you. It was just something that,
Yeah.
like, okay, yeah, all right, well, put them back on and let's go on.
Yeah.
Um, the cowboy hat incident, when I went my first wildland, we passed by a cowboy store, and I'm all, oh, I want a cowboy hat.
Yeah.
And so my boss is like, no, and I'm all, we're getting I pulled over and got a cowboy hat. And then every wildland deployment out of the 5, I got one hat every single. Never brought the same hat with me.
Yeah.
So I always buy a new hat. And I ended up giving one of my hats to, I think I gave it to her. If not, I got to send it to her. She asked for it when I retired,
Mhm.
because I had it. It would sit in the, when I came back, I had this huge Stetson that, while I was in the city, and
Yeah.
um, it stayed on the dash, and most of the bosses were my cowboy hat. Um, she asked for it, and I was like, yeah, I'll give it to you. I'm like, here you go. It was a symbol at the end.
Yeah.
Uh, COVID was hard.
Yeah,
COVID
what
was,
what was that like? 'Cause I mean, that must have been crazy. 'Cause I mean,
well, the first thing Brian will say when he's on here, remember that time that you called in sick and tried to not come to work because of COVID? I did. I legitimately, after when they pulled you home from school that day,
Yeah.
I called in sick the next day and tried to call in sick every day until it went away. And it was like, you're an idiot. Like, this
Yeah.
is not going away in a day. COVID was like, it was surreal when you started. You didn't know what was going to happen. You didn't um you you didn't, the information was obviously was so,
You said what? The
uh,
information was what?
the information was, there was so much misinformation
Oh, yeah, yeah.
out. So you really didn't know what was happening. We did have people that were super sick and beds, and nobody, and all these things. And then, like, you would come to work and somebody have the sniffles, and then like 6 people would never come back for
2 weeks.
15 days or
Yeah,
something. Yeah, it was long period of time. And then it was like, maybe June or July. We went on a wildland in June. And no, it's July because I sent you your birthday message out there.
I remember
It was your first birthday that I missed. So we started to realize that it wasn't what it was that they were producing. Not that it wasn't real or anything like that.
Hold on. Wait. Back up. Wrong child. That was Tatum. July.
No.
Yep. I remember.
So it was August.
Yeah.
It was August that I sent you your birthday wishes.
I remember because
it was in August.
I remember I was so jealous. I was like, because I remember you had a birthday message and you went around like the campsite and you're like, say happy birthday.
That was all for you. That was all for you, Jackass.
I know. I'm saying that was so funny because it was like you're bothering everyone. They're like, happy birthday. You know, they're all dead. You know, they don't want to be bothered. But anyway, sorry.
Well, yeah. So we were in camp and it was my first time that I missed. And you were 16.
Something like that.
Weren't you 16? Something like that. And so I went to everybody in the camp and I got like 30 firemen from all the way from Oregon down to San Diego to wish Jack a happy birthday. It was pretty fun. So yeah, that was about right when I started to realize that it was just, there's nothing we can do. I'm either going to get it or not get it.
Yeah.
You know, there was nothing I could do. Like, people that were super like, I'm wearing a mask, got it. And then people that were walking around smoking cigarettes, they didn't get it.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't know. It's either going to get me or.
Yeah.
And then Coop, my youngest, and my now bride got it. And that was scary because I was at work, couldn't come home. There was no way to come home.
Yeah.
Because she didn't want to bring it and do this whole thing.
Or get it and bring it back. Yeah.
Yeah. So Coop had a fever for a day and was done. It was nothing. And then Katie was down for 3 or 4 days. And that was it.
Yeah.
And then you got it. And then it was sort of like the ease of the end of it was, okay, well, if we get it, we get it.
Because what?
The funny part.
Sorry.
When they started home testing,
is
sort of when we realized, okay, now we understand what to do. And the fire department did it. They brought us all, which was pretty funny. They brought us all in by battalion into the firehouse, the chief's house. So they'd line us all up, and then we would take the test, and like 4 or 5 people would just go home right there because you're positive.
Yeah.
And then we're like looking at each other and like, there's nothing wrong with him.
Yeah.
And he's going
symptoms?
home.
Yeah.
No, none. And they're like tested positive. And then it was funny. One of the chiefs was he got COVID after he started testing everything.
That's funny.
And I'm like, well done.
Because COVID kind of hit the States, right? Or at least California, like March, right? If I'm remembering.
Well, it was here before that, but it was on Coop's birthday that they shut everything down.
Yeah, the 20th.
March 20th, yeah.
And
they shut it down, and it was surreal. Like, I was going out as a boss then. We would go to a neighborhood, middle of the day, somebody's like, right there, it says COVID, sick, got to go to the hospital. And then the paramedic would put on these Tyvek suits, which is like a white garbage bag. With
the hazmat. Yeah.
He would go in, you'd be out, you'd wait for him. He'd walk him out to the ambulance. There's no one on the streets, like no one anywhere.
Yeah,
and then all of a sudden people would start coming out of the houses. I'm sick. And you were like, oh my God, and then 5 people. Oh my God.
What was, because that must have been crazy eerie to like go around the city and it just be dead. Like, what was that
dead.
like? Yeah.
It was super fun to drive in.
Because
you could go as fast as you wanted and there was no problem, especially at like 2 a.m.
Yeah.
You could go as fast as you want. Not that I ever did. I never went over 35 miles an hour.
Yep.
Allegedly.
Yep.
But you could just fly everywhere. And it was like, no one was out. The only thing that was out were the Waymo cars.
Oh
They
yeah,
were
yeah,
out
yeah.
all through COVID
I forgot
because they
about
could just yeah,
yeah
my arch nemesis,
the Waymos.
the robot car.
I'll get
We'll
you.
talk about that later.
Yeah, we can make t-shirts that said "I hate the robot cars."
I hate the robot
We
cars.
love
Nope,
we
I don't.
love the robots though when they take over.
I
Just
just
keep
do
that
whatever
on the
you want to take
record.
over. I'm good
Gotta
with
have
it.
it on record, Dad. You know, Terminator, it'll come true. Um,
We'll be on some list of some robot.
oh, already. Yep, terminate Garrett Lucier.
He messed with our robots way too long.
Yeah. Yeah, what a time though. That was definitely an interesting one.
I it's imprinted in my brain as things that happened COVID and
Yeah,
pre-COVID and after
yeah,
COVID.
yeah,
You know,
historical. I know. I can't believe it was 6 years ago.
yeah. How
Feels like
crazy is that?
just yesterday. The
Oh, I just had COVID.
yeah. What what was your favorite like do you have a favorite place? 'Cause right, you didn't you like kind of grow up too in the city, right?
Oh yeah, I was
Yeah.
born and raised there.
Yeah, so like did you have like a favorite place, like a nostalgic place that was
Mm,
like oh okay, you know,
ooh,
like a
that's a
little
good one.
nostalgic coming here, like you went to a alarm or something.
North Beach was big.
Uh-huh. And where's that?
When
Like near
that's west of the city,
okay.
sort of near Pier 39, kind of in that
Gotcha.
area,
Yeah,
North
yeah.
Beach. Um, my great grandparents were immigrant Italians.
Mhm.
So they immigrated in the 1900s. They were here during the earthquake, and I remember going there. We went to Imperial Church a lot, which is the square.
Mhm.
The Italian pastries and the focaccia bread, which is
Mm.
that up if you can ever go to the Guardia. Oh, so good. Um, so North Beach always had that home feeling for me.
Yeah.
It's changed a lot. It's not what it used to be, but it
Mhm.
still has its charm to it. There and then yeah, I think that's really, I grew up on top of Mount Davison, which is the giant cross on top of the mountain there. There's two big mountains in the city, Goat Island, Goat Mountain. There's one with Sutro Tower on it. It's a big, huge red showed it game there. And then to that next one is the cross, which is
Yeah.
Mount David. That's where I grew up.
Mhm.
From high school on,
Mhm.
we moved up there. But not, I'd been up there a bunch and it never, nothing. The marina and North Beach were like my childhood
Mhm.
kind of place.
What did you ever I guess a good question would be was there ever like a place that you were sad to kind of see a fire at? Like one where like I don't know, what was there ever a spot you're like damn, you know, a fire here.
Hmm. Like a building or just a
It could
place?
be anything, yeah. Something where you're just like, ah man, that sucks. Like that really sucks. Not that they all
Oh,
don't suck, but was there ever one that was like really kind of like, ah, man, that stinks, you know?
yeah, yeah. There's been a couple of those places
Mhm.
that went. Off the top of my head, no.
Mhm.
I know, like um, I wasn't at the Pier Fire that was right next to um the Liberty ship that's the Jeremiah O'Brien. I wasn't at that fire.
What was that fire? The
It was a pier fire in
okay.
San Francisco, massive. I mean, the entire pier caught fire.
And they're
Like,
wooden piers, right?
yeah, they're wooden piers with old shacks on them.
So the actual like
Uh,
decking all got
Everything caught fire, and it
mhm.
was right next to um museum there, and that went. That was pretty traumatic. They saved the boat.
Yeah.
They also saved part of the museum, and the fire department. Both boats were out there, I think.
Yeah.
So they did a really good job of that. But nothing. I came in after the churches were burning.
Mm-hmm.
The churches were burning. I think maybe 70. They all were going up. Like,
Why? Just
they're old
because
buildings.
okay.
Old buildings. Something happened. It
Mhm.
wasn't, arson or anything. Candles or something. And so the church fires weren't there. I mean, I went to several block fires, where the was gone. But yeah, every fire is
A sad
nostalgic. And yeah, you're like, oh, and part of it is most of the fires, I wouldn't say all, I would say a good large percent of when they happen, because
you said what?
It's a full tear down on the building.
Oh, yeah.
So you're taking old construction and you're getting rid of it.
Yeah.
The old bay windows, the wooden staircases, and the tin ceilings.
Yeah.
They're all going. That whole nostalgia disappearing.
Yeah.
And it's being reconstructed too. People are tearing all that out and making them modern and more energy efficient, which is good, I guess. Not judging.
Yeah. Well, we're at an hour and a half. I'll ask you one more thing here, Pops, and then
Right, what do you got?
we'll call it. What is there one takeaway from, being just a normal person to then being a firefighter that you kind of walk with you in your everyday life? Like some kind of, whether it's like a principle or just something that kind of really gave you perspective, like if that makes sense. Like
One person or one
no,
thought?
just like something, yeah, like a thought that you're more grateful for this, or something that just like really gave you perspective on life that you appreciate every day.
Oh, the job changes you
Hmm.
mentally and physically. The job makes you. There's a famous comedian that says, "Honest people," and if you ever want to prove it, just 4 of them together.
Wait,
It's
you said say that again?
famous comedian said that firemen are the dumbest.
Oh,
And
okay.
and they are.
Hmm.
They are. You have to be dumb to be doing what we're doing.
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
You could not go home at any time,
Yeah.
and then you could die from this job 10 years after leaving it. It's like, it happens.
Yeah.
But for me, and just, this is me personally, I can go anywhere in the world
Hmm.
and wear like a t-shirt and and sit down and meet a fireman
Gotcha.
from somewhere else, and they will treat you as you would treat them. Like, and that for me is amazing in a career. I don't know if cops do that. I don't know.
Yeah.
I've never asked a cop. Do they go places and cops are like, "Hey, come on in, dinner with us, or check out this"?
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe they do. I don't know if any other profession does it.
What?
Boston and all that stuff.
Yeah.
It gives you that sense of you're part of something bigger than yourself.
Well, I guess too, like San Francisco firefighters, like, I mean, at least in my perspective, everyone who says it, like, that's kind of like, it's like New York and San Francisco is like, those are the kind of the pinnacle of firefighting. Like, you have, your smaller cities or whatever, but those are like, you're at the upper echelon, if you will, of firefighting.
We'll see who listens to this podcast, really. If there's only 2 subscribers, it's not that cool.
Well, hey, Takes time, you
if it's
know.
just you and me subscribing,
Hey,
then
no,
we know we're gonna have to come up with something better.
no, nothing wrong with that. This is, I love it, so that's all that
Perfect.
matters. Well, do you have any ending notes? Give
No,
sign off message, huh?
I think sign off message is basically we started this. I enjoy it. I love
I do
it.
too.
Um, I think this is going to progress and get better.
Of course.
We do have some special guests coming
Hmm.
soon. We've lined them all up.
That'll be fun.
Some of them are going to be the truth sayers that are really going to hold some of the bullshit that I've said over the years and be like, no, do you remember this? And they're like, oh, um, I won't. Just so you know, I'm not going to have any firefighters on.
Not gonna
Um,
have active firefighters, you said?
no, it
Okay,
has to be retired.
gotcha.
Part of the feeling of that one is I don't. I have a great deal of respect for the department, and I don't want stories to come out that they can be traced back to them
Gotcha.
being at
Put
work.
put them in jeopardy of their job.
Yeah, and
Gotcha.
it's like, I mean, I'm not going to talk about things that were done illegally, or but some of these stories are, you know,
Frowned upon.
frowned upon. If you could take pictures of some of these things, you don't want them knowing,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and they've got complete deniability that they had any control at the time. So I hope everybody enjoys this. If anybody wants to hear anything or talk about something, whatever. I mean, we talked about it earlier that this is going to progress into something maybe even live, or have people talk to us, or we can just answer questions. We're shooting at the moon right here and
Yep.
go that both of us are enjoying, and I hope everybody out there is enjoying it too.
Yep.
I'm sorry I insulted anyone that I didn't mean to insult, and if
Except
I
Mike
did
Marks.
insult you, except for Mike Marks and the captains of 12, if I did insult you, I meant to. So just think about that.
Well, that's perfect. Yeah, I mean the comment section should be turned on, so any questions for you shall be routed towards there. So if there
Perfect.
is any, so alrighty.
All right.
All
Thank you,
right.
buddy.
All right. Well, thank you very much.
All right.
Goodbye.
Perfect.